Hello everyone, my name is Jodi Hottel. I live in Santa Rosa and I would like to express my appreciation for the Marin Poetry Center for all the resources they've been providing to us during this time of the pandemic. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. I'd like to read one poem that I've written during this time. It came out of the Ellen Bass workshop I took through the Marin Poetry Center, and it's titled Tick, Tick. Well, I'm eating my yogurt and blueberries, mulling over a poem, and the shades of my blinds are turned against the bright sun and distraction of neighbors walking their dogs repeatedly because they're all sheltering at home. There's a line from a song that goes, "It's the end of the world as we know it," that's been playing on the jukebox in my brain lately. And that's what it feels like these days. And now my elderly dog is scratching at the door I've shut against her to avoid interruptions. She's not doing all that well. Her hind legs are getting weak. Her brassy spirit vanished along with her hearing. I should never have read that book about the climate crisis. I wanted to think that the cascades of chaos would be farther off in the future, but it feels like it's begun now with this virus. An avalanche of catastrophes burying us in deep, deep snows. Though there are the crested jays constructing a raggedy, twiggy nest on top of the motion light over our patio. And of course, the sky sparkles. The Matilda poppies I passed on my walk this morning are spreading their white crepe paper petals to display sunny centers that remind me of the ubiquitous image of the coronavirus on the news hour every night. I'm on Zoom and mute the sound because I can hear the tick of a clock, or at least I think I hear the tick of a clock. It feels like the tick of the virus time bomb ready to blow. It feels like the virus has invaded my brain, and the inability to write or think about anything else is my only symptom. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Dale Jensen, and I'd like to read a short poem called Neither Liquid Nor Solid. The dogs guarding the fever are still asleep. Politicians' skeletons bask on the coastal rocks. This blue wine that you served me last night is hardening to glass as the glass around it flows. Windows are melting all over the city. People are melting, reassembling themselves, melting. When the sensitive see this, they scream apocalypse. Then the world ends and rises again the next morning. Try to find a new word for evolution. We were created by a giant hand and will someday become a giant hand. This eye I used to see you is evolving too. It forms and reforms itself several times a second to keep up with the rest of the world in its love for you.
Double pandemic. Indeed, I tremble for my country. Thomas Jefferson, Notes on the State of Virginia. American knee of oppression on my neck, virus of death in my lungs. I can't breathe. At Mendocino, waves break against rock. In Minneapolis, rocks break windows. America, you have gone and done it now. In hospitals everywhere, people are broken, can't breathe. We arm ourselves with paving stones, bottles, the frailty of a compromised justice system. Our white skin, our neat homes, our TV screens won't protect us. White silence equals violence. Unseen enemies charge and breach all defenses. Protesters rock police cars. Police and doctors wear face shields. Black Lives Matter. America, your immune system is in tatters. Suffers multiple morbidities rocks won't cure. Plastic shields can't prevent. In Mendocino, we share wine and outrage. Breathe as if we are all in this together. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Hi, my name is Sharon Pretti. I'll be reading a poem called Field Notes for Trayvon Martin, 1995 to 2012. Field Notes. The sound of leaving is what I remember. I tried counting their bodies. The wind the geese made shivered the surface of the pond, the edge where I was standing. I thought their flight was a measure of danger. I tried leaving. The sound of their bodies is what I counted. The wind remembered their shapes, flared against the sky. No shots ruptured the air that day. No spoil of flesh, the immature and downy necks. I remember their bodies. Their leaving counts. The sound of the wind is what I tried to capture, my hands wide to the cold. I wanted to inhabit the world the way a bird or boy does, all that surprise escaping their throats. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Judy Wells. I'm going to read a poem from my book, The Glass Ship, and the poem is called Hokusai's Wave. And I'm sure most of you have seen this picture of Hokusai's Wave. Hokusai's Wave. One golden afternoon, I was watching the tide come in on No Name Island. I sat with my knees hugged to my chest, contemplating my destiny, and spied a crab scuttling up and down the beach. Far out on the horizon, I watched a small swell lazily moving toward the beach, then becoming larger as it gathered force. I was fascinated by this watery hill, rising as it steadily marched toward my beach. I should have been running toward the jungle behind me, but I was hypnotized by this now mountainous surge rising in the sea. As I stared in fascination, this gigantic wave began to crest, transforming its edge into a spectacular display of foam, like the gripping claws of a white tiger or the flames of a huge white fire. And above this conflagration, a flock of white birds rose in unison, spiraling higher and higher. All was quiet, as if the wave were now frozen, suspended in time, never to break, and I, too, never to break, as I sat and watched. But my legs began to twitch, almost involuntarily, and I found myself on my feet, running toward the jungle as I heard a huge roar at my back. I threw my arms around a palm tree and held on with the grip of a terrified god as foam crested over my head and a ton of salt water poured over me, pounded me. When I came to, I was floating in turquoise, tranquil waters, the palm tree now my canoe, white birds circling over my craft, and the sun a red coin in the sea. Thank you.